Hey y'all, we're back, and this is episode 2 of our dating series. So, yeah, let's talk more about marriage today. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about, how dating flows into marriage. I'm going to be talking about love. And remember, this is purely psychological, right? I'm going to be talking about the psychological components of this concept and how it impacts, our experience of love, our experience in our dating relationships, and by extension, gets into a marital commitment. So like you all know, we have a principle here, which is whatever concept or word we're exploring, we'll get to the definition first. Why? It just gives you a clearer perspective. When I define these things, I feel like half of your questions are taken care of. Half of the confusions you've had about these concepts and these things are handled even before I get into, sharing useful tips, right? So let's define marriage, guys. Marriage is a conjugal union between two individuals that is legally and culturally recognized. That's what marriage is. So for marriage, guys, although it's looking like something that is trendy, right? Everybody wants to do it. Even people that don't know what they're going in there to do, they want to like somebody and marry them. Because everybody has their own idea of a perfect, wedding, right? Their dream weddings. I love it for everybody. If it's possible, I'll encourage everybody to get married. But there are things that need to be handled. There are things that need to be understood. And there are things that need to be taken care of before ever jumping into this thing called marriage. I just want to let you know, marriage is not a trend, right? I know weddings are trending. That's not what marriage is. It's not a trend. I know you have the perfect idea of a dream wedding. Marriage is also not a wedding party. It's also not an event. Marriage is a conjugal union between two individuals that is both legally and culturally recognized. So marriage is a comprehensively detailed concept and reality. Marriage is not like flimsy. It's not paperwork. It's not a party. It's a comprehensively detailed concept and reality. Now let's move forward. Now, if anybody paid attention to the definition of marriage that I gave, you'd see that the word conjugal was there, which is really the essence of this whole thing, conjugal. So the word conjugal is of Latin origin, right? It's con and jugum. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And the word con means together. And the word jugum means to be yoked. That's the combination of the word conjugal, to be yoked together. So when we said marriage is a conjugal union, it's simply a union between two individuals that are yoked together. Now, let me share with you the functions of a yoke, right? A yoke is a device that is used to join two animals at their necks with the purpose of getting them to work as a team in pulling a load. So you have two cattle and there's this wooden device that is put on their necks. They both have it. And what this does is, as they both have it on, nobody is going to move faster than the other because they need to be in unison to pull whatever load that they are carrying. And I don't know about y'all, but there's nothing amusing about a yoke. Once a yoke is introduced to two animals, the main purpose is to get them committed. The next thing that is a conversation is commitment. So these two animals have been invited to a commitment to do something as a team. So they're being committed to a process just by the standard of the yoke. Now picture that in the fact of marriage. I don't know about you all, but there's nothing amusing about a yoke. If anything, it's a catalyst for sobriety and commitment. Now, I said that there is nothing about a yoke that is amusing. Let me also break that word down. Musing is a state or position of reflection and thoughts. So when we say you're musing on something, you're saying that you're in a state or position of, reflection and thinking. Then when something is amusing, it's to not be in a state of reflection, to not be in a position of thoughts. Why did I say that? Because when people think about marriage, it's vastly fantasy that they're picturing. Let's see how this goes. No, baby. You need to know how this works, to know how to go into it, not see how this goes. A lot of people have married because they wanted to see how it goes. It's not going to go anywhere that you don't know it's supposed to go. So, with our definition being established, when marriage is mentioned, the last thing you should think is fun. The first thing that should come to your mind is it's an invitation to commitment. It's an invitation to reflection. That's the first thing that should come to your mind, not some mindless excitement or fantasizing. So for something to be amusing, it means that it does not require, any deep thoughts. It does not require any reflection. You're not required to be sober. If it's amusing, it's mostly feel good. And let's be clear, a yoke is an invitation to commitment, to be sober, to slow down. We're about to get started on a work. A cattle can go wherever it wants until a yoke is put on it. And as soon as the yoke is presented or put on it, the first thing that the cattle understands is we're here for business. For the most part, a lot of people have found marriage and just, a dating relationship as amusing. So it's all feel good. Oh my God, they feel like, oh, I'm feeling down. I gotta be in a relationship. And people jump into one and, that translates into marriage. What they don't understand is what marriage is. Marriage is not another level of an adventure to go feel good. If anything, it's an adventure that requires mindfulness. That's mostly what you should think when marriage is brought up. Mindfulness. It's an invitation to be mindful, to be reflective. And a lot of people don't have that. Now, here is a problematic situation, right? Every time I found someone who claimed to be in love, it was synonymous with losing their minds. They suddenly stop thinking straight and they grapple onto anything that sparks excitement, right? They just want to be excited. For some reason, they stop thinking. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I believe 2 in 4 people have met these people if you're not the person yourself. For some reason, they're mindless. But you see, nothing about the concept of marriage encourages mindlessness, right? Nothing about the concept of marriage is encouraging of mindlessness. Like I've said before, marriage is literally an invitation to reflections, that is thinking. So if every time you've ever been in love, you couldn't think straight. Also, if every time you've ever been in love, everything is blurry except the face of the person, you claim to be in love with, you're in trouble. Something is off because that is not the time to be mindless. That is not the time to have your head stuck in the cloud. Now, if you've dated someone or are planning to get in a relationship at some point in your life, or even in the process of getting married, right? Or in a marriage, and your idea of love is excitement, cloud 9, a dopamine rush, right? And you've not quite pictured yourself loving that person beyond your excitement, well, let me tell you this, you're loving them at your own detriment. That's what you're doing. Now, here's a practical picture of what happens, when people are in love or claim they're in love, or even in dating in general, right? Whatever your situation is, I just want you to think about it and see if it applies to you. It highly likely always does. So here's the thing. Before you get in a relationship, you have this preconceived idea of what a person that is in love should feel like. Then you get into a relationship and straightway you manufacture those feelings you've preconceived all this while, and you consider yourself in love. So there are people whose ideas of being in love is, I will always feel good about this thing. Everything he does has to be perfect. I could stare at him and not look elsewhere. I could sacrifice a day just thinking about how he's not a human, how he's not a person, how he's an angel. I should always feel happy. I should always feel butterflies. So you have a preconceived idea of what love should feel like. So you get in this relationship and boom, you manufacture them. Now, here's where it gets even more problematic. You give them credit for the feelings. You manufactured the feelings. You manufactured them. You generated them. Because all you've waited for all this while was an opportunity to feel these things. So although you're in a relationship with a person, you really love that you're feeling those feelings you've forever anticipated more than you actually love that person. And you genuinely, you really, really, really consider yourself in love. As far as you're concerned, you're in love. What you don't understand is that you're generating a feeling that you've long anticipated. And not only have you long anticipated, you've been waiting for the opportunity. You've been waiting for somebody to actually decide to date you or get in a relationship with you so you can start experiencing this thing. So you don't even consult with them for if to feel it or not. You're in this thing and you're about to feel it. So what happens is you generate emotions. Yeah. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you're so capable of manufacturing emotions. Yeah. You see those your anger emotions that you claim you don't have any control over? Listen, babe, you manufactured them. You took advantage of anything that could spark the emotion. It's the same way for feeling in love. So if I'm just going to be blunt about it, you're more in love with your feelings than in love with the person. Many people have emotional ideations toward a relationship that all they need is the context of a relationship to live out those emotional ideations. So you're just a means to sustain their relationship with their emotions. So I don't know who needs to learn this. If you're in that relationship right now, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But yeah, this is something to note. And if you're that guy, if you're that lady, yeah, I'm exposing to you the psychological position, that you're taking in your relationship. So these people manufacture emotions and things and give the other person credit for it because they can't take credit for it. They've waited for this relationship so long. It has to be the other person that is responsible for how I feel. So they go ahead, manufacture the feelings, but they credit the spouse, the partner, for the materialization of their emotional ideation of what love should feel like. So they credit you. They're like, oh my God, he makes me feel this. Oh my God, no. You needed him to validate this feeling. You've always wanted to feel this, but you felt like, you couldn't do it on your own. You needed somebody to hold the end of the reputation up. You're so capable of manufacturing emotions, you don't even know the half of it. So they love the emotions more than they love you. They might love you, to a certain extent. I mean, they would love that you're present. What they love more is clear. It's evident. It's right there between the both of you. This is largely what people are experiencing and they're calling it love. No, you're not in love. You just love how you feel. And you love how they are an excuse for you to feel how you've always wanted to feel. That's what you love. It's not so much them. And somebody could go, is love sad? Is love always sober? Is love miserable? No, I believe that love should be exciting. I'm actually a big advocate for being excited about the person you're with, being excited about the person you're committed to. I'm a big believer in that, but there's process to these things. If the feelings come before the mindfulness, you'll lose everything. You've got to be mindful so you can feel the right feelings, so you can give due credit for the feelings you're experiencing and not give this person who has absolutely nothing to do with what you're feeling credit for something you manufactured. That's the purpose of the process. It's mindfulness first and excitement afterwards. Informed excitement, because whether you like it or not, that person that is in love with their emotions, they're highly likely not very aware or informed that that's what's happening, but they didn't follow process. They wanted to feel in love. They didn't want to be in love. Like the people who want to get married and not be married. Now let me explain what love looks like. Love is when you take a look at your person, take a look at your spouse, void of any emotional filter, no negative emotions attached, no exciting emotions attached, right? You take a look at your spouse, you take a look at your person, and you're like, damn, they're really a quality person. You're like, wow, like if you guys weren't married, you would want this person in your corner, right? If you guys weren't together, this is somebody to have around. This is somebody to have in your life, right? They're such a quality person that you prefer them for who they are, independent of your relationship with them. You look at them and like literally on a neutral level. You know how you see everybody on a neutral level and you're able to make sound judgments? Yeah, that's when you know you're in love. You look at your person and you go like, void of anything, void of the sexual commitment and all of that. I need you, right? I want you, like, you're worth having around. And if you had no sexual commitment whatsoever to them, you would love to entrust them with your vulnerability. That's what love is. That's love. So when you've gone through this process, on the other side, you can now start to manufacture the feelings. Because guess what? You're capable of it. You can manufacture the emotions. But from the standpoint that, oh, this is who this person is at their core. I appreciate who they are. They're valuable people. They're a person I can trust with my life and they would not mismanage it. And they're a person I don't want to ever mismanage their life based off of the quality of person that they are, right? That's love. That's the conversation starter. In case you wanted to know, okay, so how do I know love? That's love. Like on a neutral level, you want that person around. It's nothing attached to you. It's everything about who they are. It's original to them. It's nothing manufactured or manipulated. It's simply that they're a great person and I won. I can trust you with my vulnerabilities. Some people are with people who they are hiding certain things about themselves from that person. You're not in love, babe. There's things about you don't want them to find out, because if they did, then your life would take an ugly turn. You're not in love with that person. They're just a means for you to feel certain emotional ideations you've harbored in your mind for as long as you've had it. So how to know you're in love is, yeah, if this is all I got, I'm good. Void of lies. It's like you're a quality person. I would love to do this with you. Take the sex off the table. Because guess what? Some people, the only place they have common ground, they're married, by the way. The only place they see eye to eye, the only place that they share interest is in the bedroom. Outside of that, they're fighting, they're bickering, they're, throwing things. Please, whatever you guys, whatever works for you or whatever fits your situation, right? Yeah. And that's no way to live. It means that there are strings attached to why you're with that person. So yeah, the other things I explained, that's what love is. So I want you to search your heart and just like analyze maybe your marriage that you're in, or your previous situations. Yeah, analyze that and see if you're actually in love, or if you've successfully over time used this person to sustain your relationship with your emotions. So love is a choice and not merely a feeling. You can manufacture the feelings, right? You can say the right things to achieve what you want. You can set the mood for anything, but you cannot manufacture a person. You can manufacture the feelings, you can manufacture a person. Who the person is who they are. And it is what will determine the success of that relationship. The feelings don't matter as much. They are tools to facilitate, that relationship. But who the person is the pillar for that relationship. When you lose the pillar, you lose the edifice. The tools don't count now. So yes, the process is just as important as anything else. So choose right. Choose the person, then manufacture the feelings later, right? And one of the ways to choose right is to pay attention to what is available and not project what should be available. Let me explain that for a little bit. There are people who, again, ideation, they have an idea of what the perfect guy should look like. So even though he's moving crazy, they're like, but he's not doing this. No. Don't project, what should be available. Pay attention to what is available. He's moving rough. He's not accountable. Pay attention to that. That's what you need to work with. Not what you're projecting, not your ideations. Pay attention to what is presented to you, right? Don't repackage what is presented. You do that at your own detriment. That's the best way to choose right. Pay good attention to what is in front of you. Don't project anything. Don't make excuses. Don't dismiss. Don't deflect. Take it for what it is. It's right in front of you. It's who people are. Yes, you might be heartbroken because, you've pitched your tent here. You're like, I'm not going anywhere else. This is the relationship. So it might feel hard, to admit that they're not the person. But yeah, do it. Else, you'd wake up one day and be fed up. But it won't be because they just started what it is they're doing. It will be because you chose to dismiss your future for a temporary emotion. Now, here's what I want y'all to do in your dating relationships, right? I want you to have thought-provoking conversations. Yes, the things you talk about with this person, you know, of what help is it? What does it help you find out about that person? Are you paying attention to what they're saying, or are you paying attention to the dimensions of their nose? Have thought-provoking conversations. Please, your dating phase is not the time to know what color of pajamas you're wearing or lingerie. Have thought-provoking conversations. Address important things. Don't have silly conversations just because you want to feel a thing. Have meaningful, purposeful, and deep conversations. Connect on a deeper level with your words. Also, be purposeful and authentic. Now, here's something I've noticed. When people are dating, they take their time, they dance around unnecessary things, they keep chatting about things that don't help the furtherance of that relationship, but also they start to be not authentic, or they enter into it not being authentic. I want to say this to actually both genders. I've seen ladies, at least the ones I've seen ladies change their voices because they're talking to a new guy. You're not being authentic. It's not who you are. But again, ideation, the idea of who a girlfriend should sound like is not this. You sound like Batman. You want him to stay. So it's like, oh my God. He's like, what did you do today? What did you eat? You're like, I kind of didn't feel hungry. No, babe, you know how you sound. I kind of didn't feel hungry, so that's how you sound. Be authentic. Now, the only reason a change is permitted is that you as an individual realize that that trait you possess doesn't serve you anymore or in any way. You can upgrade yourself for yourself because you now see that there's an opportunity for you to be better, right? Don't upgrade yourself to fit into somebody's, fantasies. It won't be an upgrade really. It'll be a disguise. So the only change that is permitted is the one that you see is absolutely necessary for your growth and progress. Don't change your voice. Don't start checking YouTube tutorials because he said he likes a good home-cooked meal and you can't cook. You wouldn't even cook to save your life. So what you're really saying is, oh yeah, I don't deserve to eat, but that man I'm trying to lock in, I'm gonna learn to cook for him. Listen, cooking is not a gender-specific thing. It's a survival skill. Everybody should know how to cook, male and female alike. If you didn't consider yourself worth acquiring that skill for, and the only reason you're acquiring that skill is so this person can feel impressed with you or by you, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. I'm not against cooking for your husband. Again, cooking is a survival skill. I think it's a basic skill everybody should have. So if you can cook, cook for your spouse, okay? And if you can't cook, you should acquire that skill, is what I'm saying. So you can cook for your spouse. But for yourself first, because you're not useless while you're single. So why suddenly you wake up one morning and try to amass value? You wake up one morning and try to be a quality person for this other person, and you didn't consider yourself worth being a quality person for. You didn't consider yourself worth the growth. You didn't consider your future, your destiny, worth the growth. Your generations unborn worth the growth. And suddenly a man comes in. If you're going to make any changes, make the changes because you realize that I need to grow out of this. This is not healthy. This is not serving anyone. But apart from that, don't ever lose your authenticity to impress people. Or in this case, a potential date, right? And for how long a person should date, this is a question that, listen, for centuries it's been asked. For how long a person should date, typically I would say all things being equal, right? You being intentional, you having the financial means to settle down, having a good job, having plans for the future, or having a certain level of stability in your life. 1 year. 1 year is a good time to gather important data to see if somebody's worth sharing the rest of your life with. Here's something I've noticed as well. So I've noticed that the more intentional the people, that's the parties, the highly likely for the dating period to be short. So 1 year, typical, good enough. And guess what? It helps you to see what you don't want to mess with. Remember, we're dedicating this amount of time to that person. Sometimes it's shorter. You've seen enough to know I can't do nothing with you, right? So that's that. 1 year is good, so you can move on with your life if they're not the one, and you can commit if you've seen good enough things to work with, right? But then you could do your 2 years. The one I don't know is 5 years, right? That's a lot, except you're like 16. Because why are you even dating at 16? You're not even getting married. I feel like the longer you stay with a person, gathering data, dating them, the highly likely it is for them to not be excited, not to have anything to look forward to. They get really comfortable and familiar. You need that anticipation going. It's like, oh my God, I can't wait for you to be my wife. Oh my God, I can't wait for you to be my husband. Because now you understand that, oh yeah, there's more things to find out about the person. But 1 year is a good time, all things being equal, right? And 2 or 3, and you know that quote that says, love is blind? Listen, marriage is an eye-opener, baby. Getting married can be amusing, but being married, oh, you're going to be mindful. It's going to require all the levels of mindfulness that you possess at the core of your being. And you're going to be either, grateful that you led with mindfulness, or regretful that you led with feelings and not mindfulness. Don't ever choose who to marry out of sentiments. Be sober, be reflective, be intentional. Don't pity anybody and marry them. It's doing nobody any good. Don't pity anybody. If they're not the one, you can cry while telling them. It can hurt you that you're letting them go, but do it. Never attach sentiment to it. Forever is too long to conveniently make a bad choice. Grieve how you feel like it. Mourn the loss of that situation. Mourn the loss of all the things that you thought could have been with this person. But move on. Just never be sentimental. Build a friendship with your person. Okay, a lot of people, the idea of dating is like sexual tension every time. It's actually very disrespectful that the most you can think of a person, that you value is to make them a subject of your sexual fantasies. You have the rest of the marriage for that. So take the data gathering season to actually gather data about this person. Look out for your common interests. Are your values their values? If they don't value what you value, that's a red flag. That's somewhere to slow down. That's somewhere to ask questions, right? And all of that stuff. But I want you to also note this. Marriage is an equalizer. Remember the yoke? It's put on 2 animals so that they work as a team. Never marry somebody that you feel better than. Yeah, if you think you're better than this person, if you think they're beneath you, if you think that they will never be on your level, never marry them. So never marry anybody, because some people marry people to feel good about themselves. So yeah, this is my wife. And depending on if they're narcissistic or if they're manipulators, they marry people that they can put down, people that they can, demean. They do that to feel good about themselves. But well, let me tell you this. Remember, you're not capable of attracting somebody or something that isn't like you. If you feel the need to put them down, then maybe you feel you're down. So you can only interact on that level. Because if you're really high, your instinct would be to pull them up, not to keep them there. So if you're keeping them there, it means that you're very much there. So never marry somebody you feel better than. Don't do it. Marriage is an equalizer. You regret it. You will regret it. It's easier to catch up to somebody that is running than it is to run backwards. I'm saying don't settle. We've come to the end of this episode. If you have a question, put it in the, is it a description box? No, I use the description box. Put it in the comments, right? If you have a question, put in the comments. If you have a remark, if you have concerns, if you have a comment, anything, feel free to, utilize the comments. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. But until then, I'm Eugenada. Love you.